And welcome back. We had previously worked on this pixel art map, and I had mentioned that we could do more with it. So today we're going to go ahead and look at one of those things that we can do, which is adding just some simple rocks into our water here to kind of help break this up. So I'm going to go ahead and head back to my original pixel art map reference here, and I'm just going to go ahead and move on over here next to my inner area, and I'm going to go ahead and select one of my 32 by 32 regions here. And what I want to do is, since this is going to be sitting in the water, I want to, of course, first start by filling this area in here. Now, it doesn't matter that I don't have it here in these other regions because it's actually going to end up just part of this merged layer here. We had previously done this because we had a lot of work to do here with the different layers to really help make this pop out. But for this purpose today, we can just go ahead and fill this in on this layer. So I'm going to go ahead and use my eyedropper tool to go ahead and grab the blue that we are using for our water and fill that square in. Next, what I want to do is actually, before I do anything else, is move to my pencil tool. And I want to take that pencil tool, and let me bring that back down to a smaller size here. I want to go ahead and make that into kind of a gray color. Now, I could, of course, use a bluish gray, but because our water is already blue, I want to have a little bit of contrast here. So I'm actually going to go down more to the reds and try to find more of a reddish gray that I can use to kind of help me get started here. And that's not too bad of a tone there, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of make a rock here. Might make something kind of triangular to kind of start here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that looks pretty good to start here. And of course, I could make this larger, I could make it smaller. But again, the idea here is just to go ahead and make something that we can build and work with. Alright, once I've done that, the next thing to do is to go ahead and actually just take that tone and lighten it, because I want to actually have that stand out just a little bit. So I'm actually just going to go find a little bit lighter tone, and let's bring that brush size down to 1 pixel here, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose one side of this rock here to go ahead and paint that with lighter tones. Again, this is just going to be our highlight side here, so this is like where the sun is coming down, it's striking this part of the rock. And to really help that stand out, I'm actually going to go ahead and do even lighter still to go ahead and have just a nice separated area here visually where we can see these different tones really kind of stand out on this rock. And I might want to add a little bit more over here with this side area. It's not a big deal. I can just, of course, brush that up with my pencil tool. And we now have a nice, beautiful rock. Now, we didn't add any shadows in, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to my original color. Again, using my pencil tool, let's go ahead and actually darken that. Let's take that pretty dark here, because this is going to be our shadow region. We're just going to go ahead and fill in just kind of the bottom pixels here of this rock. All right, and that looks pretty nice there. Now, of course, this rock is sitting in water, and water is not a static thing. So we're actually going to do similar thing how we did here, where we had done the lighter tones around this. And we had gone ahead and specced out some of these different spots. Now you could use the same colors here if you so choose. Or you could, of course, just color shift into some new tones. But for the sake of consistency, what I'm going to use is try to use that same color palette I had here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this lighter blue color that I had here. Using my pencil tool, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill in the border around the bottom of this shape here. Again, just to kind of help give that a nice representation that this is sitting in moving water. There, that really helps that stand out just a little bit there, so it's not quite so stagnant. And again, using my eyedropper tool, I'm going to go ahead and choose one of these even lighter tones here. And I'm going to switch to my brush tool and just add a couple of small splashes of water out here along the edges, just to help break that up and show that this, again, is sitting in moving water. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, we're going to do similar thing as what we had done before. I'm going to go ahead and copy this because, again, we already have it selected. So let's copy it, come over to our pixel art map, and paste that in. Grabbing our move tool, we can actually now just go ahead and grab this and just drop this rock right here into one of these water regions. And then, of course, I can just make copies of this as needed to go ahead and fill my map in and just help really diversify this landscape so it's not all uniform. Now, one thing you'll notice is that all my rocks currently are the same size. And if we really want to add another layer of dimension here, let's go back to our original image. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same selection that I had, and let's just go ahead and, again, using our move tool, make a copy of that. And now I have a copy of it. I'm actually going to first deselect this, use my marquee selection tool, and actually just kind of make a smaller selection around this, making sure it's square. And let's go ahead and Control T to go ahead and free transform this. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this same shape that I've been working with, and I want to actually just bring that down. I'm not worried about the background right now, having those transparent pixels, because I'm just going to fill that in a minute here. 16 by 16 sounds pretty good. Let's just go ahead and try to center that the best we can. It may not be exact, but that's okay. And I'm going to hit the check mark there to kind of save that. And we're going to use our paint bucket tool, deselect. We should have a blue, but notice it's not the same blue that we had, so we got to make sure we get the same blue as that background, and then we can fill that in. Oh, I accidentally grabbed the background there, so I want to make sure I'm restricting where I'm filling. There we go. So now I have a much smaller rock that we're going to be working with. And I'm going to deselect and now go ahead and grab the full 32 by 32, copy that, and I can paste it in. And now, of course, you'll see we have some rocks of varying sizes where they, of course, are not all exactly the same. And I can, of course, just go ahead and put those into my map and have them fill in wherever I need them to go. All right, and just like that, I've added some other pieces here to my map to really kind of help add another layer of dimension to really liven up this final product that I'm working with. And of course, you've noticed we have many layers here with our map. We, of course, can do the same thing as we did before. We can merge those down. So merge those layers. And now we have, of course, our pixel art map, which is really starting to come to life. And when we come back next time, let's see what else we can do. What other things can we do to add dimension or other things that we can build using pixel art techniques, such as the ones that we have already shown.